Okay, in this video I was just going to run through the new Lumix live stream, which has just sort of all happened and been announced. It was kind of like basically like a 7-minute video, just mostly including sort of Lumix Lab, Lumix Flow, and there was also a little bit of news about firmware updates for the S5iii, S5iiX, S9, GH7 and G9m2. And I was just going to have a quick whiz through it and just pick out like the features and stuff, like the main headlines. Obviously, if you don't want to listen to me ramble about it, I'll just leave a link to it and you can just watch it. But I was just going to kind of have like a whiz through it and just kind of pick out some points for you. But the first part was basically just talking about LUTs. Obviously, you know, Lumix Lab's been around for a while, and they were just kind of talking about that. And then eventually they do get to one kind of bit that is like a new feature for Lumix Lab, which is this thing called Magic LUT. And basically you can just pick an image that you like the look of, you use Magic LUT on it, and it just kind of pulls out like all the color tones and bits from the image that you like and turns it into a LUT for you. So that's quite a nice little feature, you know. And then they kind of go on to say that, you know, Lumix Lab's it's being used by a lot of people with like older cameras. And they kind of say, you know, it's not just for people with the latest cameras, it's for like, you know, it's for everybody essentially, not just Lumix users, not just like even new Lumix users. It's for anybody that wants to kind of do this kind of thing. So, you know, there's a couple of little features in there, nothing super interesting from like my point of view, but, you know, it was okay. It was kind of like just a couple of bits for Lumix Lab. So, you know, you might be interested in that. That's not been released yet, but it's coming kind of soon. And then there was this bit talking about Lumix Flow. They kind of switch over into like, you know, what's going on in Lumix Flow, a few new kind of updates and things for it. And we already knew this, like, I mean, we've known about this for like well over a week anyway, but on the 20th of October, it's getting an update. We've already seen all the updates for it. I'll link to another video that I did about that, but we've already seen it all. All the release notes have been officially like released and then taken back, and I don't know why. It's weird. It's not even really worth an announcement, but you know, that's happening 20th of October, as we already knew, as I say. And then they kind of went on to show this kind of new flow compatibility updates list for it. So you've got like an added UI for vertical shooting, improved mirrored monitoring, basically just like operational updates. You can apply LUTs in the live view. Multiple frame markers is now also supported. And they've also added AF recognition to the frame display. So there's some quite nice little updates in that. And like I say, you can see the new cameras supported on the end there as well. And then, yeah, if we go on a bit, so that's kind of like, that's Lumix Flow wrapped up, some new features there. Again, coming on the 20th. And then there's like a nice little extra on the end, which I didn't actually realize about. So there's no product releases or anything. It was just purely like this firmware bit bolted onto the end. And you can see it's kind of followed suit with some other firmware updates where they've been trying to improve the startup speeds. So you can see the S9 already received this update, so that's already happened essentially. But the S5iii, S5iiX, GH7, G9m2, they all get like this improved startup speed update, which is nice. And then for some of the newer DJI gimbals, you've got some extra support there. And that's only for the S5iii, S5iiX and GH7 at this point. You know, that might change, but right now it's just for those. And then you've got the focus ring operation for lenses. So this is basically where it can be used as like a control ring. And we've kind of seen about this recently with some of the updates. And again, that's for S5iii, Mark IIX. And in this case, it's the S9. So it's not there for the GH7 and G9m2. And that's kind of it really. Then they just kind of sign off and that's the end of it. So there is like I say, the release for all of these bits. So sort of in a nutshell, we've got Lumix Lab updates with this Magic LUT feature, got the Lumix Flow updates come in, plus the additional cameras being supported for Lumix Flow. And then we've also got firmware updates coming for some of the cameras with like those improved startup times and a couple of additional compatibility bits for DJI. And basically all of it's October 20th. So if you've got any of those cameras, check it out on that day. I'll probably run through and do like a little video about it anyway. But yeah, it'll all be there on the 20th of October. So that's like 4 days away next week. So hopefully you found that helpful. If you have, give the video a like. If you want to see more Lumix content, check out the playlist on this channel and please subscribe.